Chapter 62 The Chance to Leave the Imperial Mausoleum. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, knowing that Qin Jianyan wanted to let him go out, although Qin Feng was moved, he did not agree. I'm afraid it's not a wise decision for you to let me out now. Qin Feng said slowly. Why? Qin Jianyan said in confusion. If the demon cult did not pledge allegiance to the demon, you pardoned me. Some people might object, but they wouldn't oppose it very fiercely. After Qin Feng paused, he continued, but now, everyone in the world knows that the demon cult has pledged allegiance to the demons, and I once saved the demon cult saint. If you let me out at this time, not to mention the ministers of the court, I am afraid that the people of the whole world will regard you as a faint king. Hearing what Qin Feng said, Qin Jianyan's face suddenly changed, feeling that he was thinking too little. He is not afraid of being regarded as a fool. It was because he was afraid that if he failed to pardon Qin Feng this time, he would never have another chance in the future. What should I do? Qin Jianyan's face was not good, and he said, I have already ascended the throne, and I still can't pardon the emperor. When can I let the emperor go out? Do not worry. Qin Feng, on the other hand, said calmly, there will be opportunities in the future. If you want to do anything, you have to take your time. Hearing Qin Feng's comfort, Qin Jianyan was not happy, but felt more and more useless. He felt that Qin Feng had been trapped in the Imperial Mausoleum for decades, and had no chance to come out to see the outside world. He must have endured unimaginable misery, but I can't do anything. You don't have to blame yourself. Seeing this, Qin Feng continued to speak, everyone has his own destiny, you can't force it. Qin Jianyan was silent, not knowing what he was thinking. Seeing this, Qin Feng didn't bother, but returned to the room, and took out a jar of good wine that Chu Xiong had secretly brought to him, as well as some dried meat. I am going to have a drink or two with this depressed emperor. Brother Wang. I thought of a way to allow you to leave the Imperial Mausoleum for a period of time to see the outside world. Qin Jianyan, who had been thinking for a long time, suddenly brightened his eyes and said. Oh. In what way? Qin Feng said with a light smile upon hearing this. Go to the East China Sea to pay homage to my mother. Qin Jianyan said slowly, now that your father has just passed away, no matter what, the ministers of the court cannot prevent you from paying homage to your mother. Because of his father's death, Qin Feng was too sad and wanted to pay homage to his biological mother. If the court ministers dared to object, it would be really inhumane. After all, filial piety comes first. Hearing what Qin Jianyan said, Qin Feng was slightly taken aback, and it took a long while before he remembered the memory of his biological mother. Their mother was originally the jewel in the palm of the head of the Lu family in the East China Sea. When she married Emperor Xia, the head of the Lu family didn't agree at all, and directly severed the father-daughter relationship with her. She is not allowed to set foot in the Lu family again. Their mother felt guilty all her life. Before she died, she begged Emperor Xia to bury her in Lu's house in Donghai to accompany her deceased parents. Originally, this did not conform to the laws of the Xia dynasty, and all officials in the court strongly opposed it. The always tough Emperor Xia even persuaded those ministers one by one at this time, and finally sent their mother's bones back to the Lu family in Donghai for burial. It can be regarded as an epic love story. Yes. Qin Jianyan nodded and said, actually, I have long wanted to pay homage to my mother, but my father has been asking me to learn how to deal with various important affairs in the court, so I really don't have time. Now that I have ascended the throne, there are more things to do. I don't know when I will be able to go there. Brother Wang can just pay homage to my mother for me now. The sea area of the East China Sea does not belong to the territory of the Xia dynasty, and is completely managed by several big families. He did not have the opportunity to go to the East China Sea when he patrolled before. Hearing this, Qin Feng pondered slightly and nodded. Well. He has no reason to refuse this kind of thing. I'll arrange for the royal family to enshrine later, and be responsible for protecting the emperor's brother. Only then did Qin Jianyan smile, and said, Brother Huang, you can stay in Donghai for a while longer. You don't need to let the royal family protect me. Qin Feng said lightly. That can't be done, it's too dangerous. Qin Jianyan shook his head hastily, and said, in the East China Sea, the relationship between several big families and us is not bad, but those pirates who run amok in the East China Sea are very dangerous. In the vast sea, there are many islands, and pirates can hide in any island they want, so it is difficult to clean them up. Let Xi Ning walk with me, Qin Feng said indifferently. She is now at the middle stage of the first layer of Zifu realm. She can not only protect me, but also experience a lot of experience. At the same time, she doesn't need to waste the time of other royal family members to worship and practice. Ever since Qin Zining brought back the treasures of heaven and earth from the spiritual path, all the royal priests have been practicing hard in seclusion, and he didn't want to delay these people. Let Qin Zining walk with him, and he can take this opportunity to teach Qin Zining some profound meanings of the sword. Also, Qin Jianyan was startled for a moment, then immediately smiled, and said, "Let that little girl go to pay homage to her grandma, it's a filial piety for me." Afterwards, he didn't stop, but hurriedly left the Imperial Mausoleum to make arrangements. As for those fine wines and jerky, Qin Feng fed them to the small animals in the Imperial Mausoleum. It is not a trivial matter for Qin Feng, the former deposed prince, to go to the Lu family in the East China Sea to pay homage to his biological mother. There are many aspects to prepare for. It took a full year. One morning, in the Imperial Palace, dozens of maids and servants boarded an ancient ship, then the ancient ship lifted off slowly, and then headed towards the East China Sea. After saying goodbye to Qin Feng and Qin Zining, Qin Jianyan started to deal with government affairs and had no intention of resting for a while, because he has many things to do, many reforms to implement. In the end, the interests of those princes will definitely be touched. He had to suppress those princes before they united against him. This is a game about time. Even, because of government affairs, Qin Jianyan forgot an important promise to the concubines in the harem, because in his opinion, the affairs of the harem are family affairs after all. It's not important to state affairs. The eternal ancient continent is surrounded by boundless seas. The Kanglan domain is located in the southeast corner of the eternal continent, and the great Xia royal family is located in the southeast corner of the Kanglan domain. There are endless mountains in the south, and the sea is in the south of the mountains, and at the end of the eastern border is the sea. Because this sea is located to the east of the Kanglanyu, it is called the East Sea. In the East China Sea, there are naturally many islands. However, compared to those islands far away from the mainland in the boundless sea, the living habits of the people on these islands are still not much different from those in the Kanglanyu. It's not like people in some wild island countries. Their views of right and wrong are different from those on the mainland. Among the many islands in the East China Sea, the 5 largest islands are all vast in size, 1/3 as large as the Great Xia dynasty. On these 5 islands, there lived 5 families respectively. The Lu family where Qin Feng's biological mother lived was one of the 5 major families. The destination of his and Qin Zining's voyage this time is also the island where the Lu family is located. Chapter 63 Heroes Save Beauty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the boundless sea, there are big ships sailing everywhere, whether in the sea or in the sky, very lively. Some travel between the islands in the East China Sea, while others travel between the East China Sea and the continent of Kanglanyu, either doing business, or transporting various resources. It was the first time for Qin Zining to see the sea, and she was very excited when she saw the scene in front of her. Standing on the deck of the ancient ship, she looked at the passing ships and the misty islands below. Wow! Why are there so many beautiful girls on that boat? Qin Zining pointed to a passing ship not far away, and said with eyes full of admiration. It should be sent to the major families and sections. Qin Feng answered calmly, among the islands in the East China Sea, women are generally more glamorous and good-looking than those on the Kanglanyu mainland, and they are very popular with those big forces. These women are generally not forced, because after all, there are 5 major families that maintain the order in the East China Sea. Most of them went to Kanglan domain to see a wider world. Qin Zining nodded thoughtfully. Soon, her eyes were attracted by other places. The appearance of Joy does not have the appearance of a princess at all. This made the maid who was in charge of supervising Qin Zining's etiquette feel a little helpless. For the next 10 days, the ancient ship sailed in the air. Soon it was less than miles away from the island where the Lu family was located. There are also a lot fewer big ships in the sky and in the sea. because in this sea area, only with the permission of the Lu family, there are large ships that can sail. Hey, what does that big ship with the black flag on board do? Qin Zining's gaze suddenly turned to a large black ship with a black flag in the distance, and asked suspiciously. The faces of the maids and attendants on the boat changed suddenly when they saw this. Pirates! This is the pirate's ship, a court lady exclaimed, and hurriedly said to Qin Zining, Princess, you should go back to the cabin and hide for a while. At the same time, some people began to activate the formations on the ancient ship, and the formations lit up to protect the ancient ship. The pirates in the East China Sea burn, kill and loot, they do all sorts of crimes, they are very dangerous. Haikao, seeing this, Qin Zining was not afraid, and kept looking at the black boat. It was found that under the black ship, there was a damaged warship full of large holes shot out by arrows. It was obviously sunk by the black ship, and not far from the black ship, a one-eyed bandit was fighting fiercely with a woman, bursting out bursts of spiritual energy fluctuations, which were incomparably astonishing. The woman looked to be more than 200 years old, but her appearance was not old. She was similar to the women in her 30s on Blue Star, and she had a unique charm, wearing soft armor and holding an épée. He looks heroic. She and the one-eyed bandit were both at the mid-first stage of the Zifu realm, but because they were injured by the random arrows from the black boat, they were at a disadvantage now. This woman. Qin Feng narrowed his eyes slightly and muttered to himself. Qin Zining looked at Qin Feng in surprise. It was the first time she saw Qin Feng showing interest in women. She hurriedly said, Uncle Huang, let me go and save her. I'll drive away that one-eyed bandit, and you will be a hero to save the beauty and give her a healing pill. She will definitely be very grateful to you. Who did you learn this from? Qin Feng couldn't help frowning when he heard this. In the drama. Qin Zining blinked her big eyes, and said, according to the plot in the play, if there is no accident, the woman might give her body to the uncle. How about it, Uncle Huang, do you want me to save her? You are ready for the healing elixir. As she said that, she was eager to try and took out her long sword. Can. Qin Feng said lightly, however, I think that if your aunt knows what you think, she will definitely teach you a lesson. Qin Zining, who was already preparing to make a move, suddenly froze. Aunt Grandma, Qin Zining was puzzled and asked, what does the emperor mean by that? Don't you realize that this one looks a bit like your grandma? Qin Feng said a little speechlessly. I didn't find it, Qin Zining said, I have only seen the portrait of grandma, but not the real person. Grandma passed away before she was born. Qin Feng was speechless. It seems that the level of the court painter is a bit average. The woman who was fighting fiercely with the one-eyed bandit, he had an impression in his memory, was his biological mother's younger sister, who had been to the imperial city once, and at this time, in the distant battle situation, a terrible sword glow suddenly broke out. Boom! Violent fluctuations erupted in the sky, the shattered sword light swept all directions. Pft! Lu Qingzhu was sent hundreds of feet away by the one-eyed bandit, a mouthful of blood spewed out, and his breath plummeted. The soft armor on his body was also full of knife marks, and some places had even been torn open, with scarlet blood oozing out. Hey! Lu Qingzhu, you lost. The sword in the hand of the one-eyed bandit was shining brightly, and his eyes were full of lust and said, but don't worry. I won't kill you, I will bring you back to the island, and slowly torture and play with you. While speaking, a terrifying coercion was released from his body. Lu Qingzhu couldn't move for a moment. Hateful. Her eyes were full of anger and dissatisfaction. She didn't expect that she would fall into the trap of these pirates and fall into an ambush. At this moment, the one-eyed bandit had already strode towards Lu Qingzhu, and he stretched out his hand to grab her back to the boat and enjoy it. At this moment, Lu Qingzhu was extremely desperate. Chong! However, at this moment, the sound of a sword's cry suddenly sounded. The terrifying sword glow pierced the sky and struck towards the one-eyed bandit. Who? Seeing this sword light, the one-eyed Deku's face changed suddenly, and he slashed out with the worn-out long knife in his hand. The sword glow collided with the sword glow, and a deafening sound erupted. The one-eyed bandit was shocked by this energy fluctuation and retreated again and again. The spiritual energy in his body was tumbling, and his face became very pale. Auntie, are you okay? Qin Zining came to Lu Qingzhu's side and asked quickly. As she said that, she also handed a healing elixir to Lu Qingzhu. What? Lu Qingzhu was very grateful to see someone save him, but after hearing the address of the other party, he couldn't react for a while. What is this called? But now healing is the most important thing. She hastily swallowed the healing elixir Qin Zining gave her. Little girl, who are you? The one-eyed bandit stared at Qin Zining with a cold expression in his eyes. Why didn't he remember that there was such a young man with such a strong cultivation base in the Eastern Sea? You don't care who I am, but you dare to hurt my aunt. I have to teach you a lesson. Qin Zi coquettishly shouted. While speaking, the terrifying sword intent was released from her body. Pentium is like a big river, very amazing. She was going to use De sword intent directly, not to waste too much time with this one-eyed bandit. Chapter 64 I've already grown so big, Phil. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the one-eyed bandit saw this, his eyes were full of horror. He had never seen such a terrifying sword intent. However, he was not afraid. Instead, there was a touch of cruelty and arrogance in his eyes. Hey! Originally, I just wanted to catch Lu Qingzhu today, but I didn't expect to have an unexpected harvest. One-eyed Co sneered and said, it seems that this is a gift from the heavens for watching me work hard all day. While speaking, the worn-out long knife in his hand suddenly emitted a blue light, and a terrible breath erupted, swept all over the place. This knife is a 5th-rank high-grade spiritual weapon. Qin Zining's pretty face was full of surprise when she saw the aura released from the long knife. She didn't expect that the seemingly inconspicuous knife in the hands of the big bandit turned out to be a 5th-order high-grade spiritual weapon. Although it was damaged, it was also very terrifying. One must know that in the entire Great Xia dynasty, there was no 5th-order high-grade spiritual weapon. Huh, are you scared? The one-eyed bandit laughed arrogantly. Kneel down obediently and call me master, it will save you from the pain of flesh and blood. Don't even think about it. Although Qin Zining felt the danger, she couldn't humiliate her and beg for mercy. While speaking, she slashed out with a sword, and the turbulent sword intent, like a rushing river, swept towards the one-eyed bandit. The power is amazing. I don't know what's wrong. The one-eyed bandit slashed out with a single knife, overbearing. The long knife exuding a dazzling light directly split the sword intent of the great river. Afterwards, he strode forward and killed Qin Zining. Auntie, you go back to the boat first. Qin Zi said solemnly. After all, she held the sword to meet the one-eyed bandit. The two sides immediately fought together. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, bursts of spiritual energy suddenly fluctuated and exploded. Although the one-eyed bandit has the advantage of weapons, Qin Zining has received elixir warming and spiritual energy empowerment, and has an extraordinary physique. Facing opponents of the same realm, he has a lot of advantages, so for a while, it was hard to tell the winner. Could this little girl be my sister's granddaughter? Seeing Qin Zining fighting fiercely with the one-eyed bandit, Lu Qingzhu finally understood at this moment. She also finally understood why she felt a little familiar when she saw Qin Zining for the first time just now. For a moment, Lu Qingzhu's emotions were extremely complicated. Her elder sister, who grew up with her, married into the royal family of Daxia, and then died young, has always been a pain in her heart. It is also because of this that since her sister passed away, she has never been to the Great Xia Imperial City again, but she didn't expect to be here today and be able to meet her sister's granddaughter. Lu Qingzhu clenched the épée in her hand, just to help Qin Zining. How could she retreat by herself, and let her sister's granddaughter face the big bandit alone? Even now that she is seriously injured, she still has to do her best to help Qin Zining. This is her sister's granddaughter, her relatives, although the two have never met before, but the kind of blood relationship made her risk her life. Lu Qingzhu, your opponent is us. And at this moment, more than a dozen pirates on the black ship flew in front of Lu Qingzhu one after another. Apart from anything else, even if he shot Lu Qingzhu, he didn't give Lu Qingzhu time to recover at all, and didn't let Lu Qingzhu help Qin Zining. For a moment, the sky was divided into two battlefields. Lu Qingzhu was worried about Qin Zining's safety, and desperately wanted to break through the siege of these pirates. As for Qin Zining, facing the one-eyed bandit alone, it was very difficult, and she gradually fell into a disadvantage. Boom! that the one-eyed bandit used his powerful saber technique to slash Qin Zining back, and at the same time, without giving Qin Zining any chance to breathe, he killed Qin Zining again. The long knife in his hand burst into a dazzling blue light, extremely domineering. He felt that Qin Zining was very dangerous, and he no longer planned to catch Qin Zining alive, and planned to kill Qin Zining directly. Princess, not seeing this, the maids and servants on the ancient ship all changed their faces and shouted in panic. At this moment, they all regretted why they didn't stop Qin Zining desperately. Lu Qingzhu's expression also changed suddenly, and he let out an exclamation. How to do? Qin Zining felt the huge threat of death, her pretty face turned pale, and she quickly thought of a countermeasure, but found that she had no way to stop the one-eyed bandit's knife. However, at this moment, the one-eyed bandit suddenly trembled in his soul, as if he was being targeted by an ancient beast. The whole body is extremely stiff. Qin Feng suppressed his soul with his divine pupils and powerful consciousness. And at this time, Qin Zining also discovered the abnormality of the one-eyed bandit, without any hesitation, seized the opportunity instantly, and chopped off the head of the one-eyed bandit with a single sword. The sudden change made everyone here stunned. What's going on? Just now the boss clearly had the absolute advantage. Why was he killed all of a sudden? How do I know what happened? That those pirates were all dumbfounded. They looked at each other in blank dismay, feeling like a hell of a thing. Many maids and attendants on the ancient ship were all stunned when they saw this scene, and couldn't believe it was real. Even Qin Zining, who personally killed the one-eyed bandit, felt a little unreal when she saw the body of the one-eyed bandit falling into the sea. Why did the one-eyed bandit suddenly have empty eyes, as if he had lost his mind? Come on! After the pirates recovered from their shock, they shouted in panic, their boss is dead, and now there is no one who is Qin Zining's opponent, and they are courting death if they continue to stay. The pirates who besieged Lu Qingzhu fled back to the black ship. Blue lights flickered on the black ship, and it was fleeing towards the distance. It's just that they didn't notice that there was a gust of wind blowing in the direction of their escape. Auntie, are you okay? Qin Zining did not chase those pirates, but returned to Lu Qingzhu's side, and asked with concern. I am fine. Lu Qingzhu shook his head, then looked at Qin Zining seriously. His face was full of joy, and said, little girl, you should be called Zining, right? You are already this big. Under normal circumstances, what anyone cares about should be Qin Zining's unparalleled cultivation, but Lu Qingzhu only cared. Qin Zining was already a slim girl, because she was her sister's granddaughter. Kindness. Qin Zining nodded and said with a smile, Zining is my name. Let's go back to the boat first. It's safer there. Kindness. Lu Qingzhu nodded, then he returned to the ancient ship with Qin Zining. Qin Feng also stepped forward and greeted him respectfully, looking at her sister's son and granddaughter in front of her. Lu Qingzhu couldn't help crying for a moment. The role of Lu Qingzhu was temporarily added after I watched. Hello, Li Huanying, today, if there is something wrong with the writing, please forgive me. Chapter 65. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Did you come to East China Sea on purpose, or did you pass by here? Lu Qingzhu asked suspiciously. I came here on purpose. Qin Zining said with a smile, Father asked me and Uncle Huang to pay homage to Grandma. Well, that's great. Lu Qingzhu nodded repeatedly. For so many years, due to the fierce opposition from the Big Xia royal family, the royal family has never sent anyone to pay homage to her sister. Only when Xia Huang was on tour, they went secretly to pay homage to her a few times. She thought that after Emperor Xia passed away, no one would come again. Unexpectedly, not long after Qin Jianyan ascended the throne, Qin Feng and Qin Zining came to pay homage to her sister. This made her feel very relieved. Auntie, please stop talking and meditate to heal your wounds, Qin Feng said slowly. I guess it won't be long before we can reach Xi'an Island. The island where the Lu family is located is Xi'an Island. Kindness. Lu Qingzhu nodded and began to meditate to heal his injuries. The ancient boat sailed slowly towards Xi'an Island. On the way, Lu Qingzhu didn't meditate all the time. He really wanted to chat with Qin Feng and the others, get to know their situation, and ask how they were doing. Qin Zining naturally reported the good news but not the bad news, and said things to reassure Lu Qingzhu. While chatting, Lu Qingzhu also chatted about her sister's past and many things about Donghai, from Lu Qingzhu's mouth. Qin Feng learned that when his biological mother married Emperor Xia, the reason why he encountered fierce opposition was because after the eldest son of the head of the Lu family passed away, there were only 2 daughters left. Qin Feng's biological mother was raised as the future head of the family. Emperor Xia married his biological mother, but the head of the Lu family thought that Emperor Xia was trying to annex the Lu family with sinister intentions. Therefore, the relationship between the 2 parties is very bad. Now the old head of the Lu family has passed away, and Lu Qingzhu has taken over as the head of the Lu family. Lu Qingzhu is very capable of managing the family. Under her management, the Lu family has firmly secured the throne of the largest family in the East China Sea. This made Qin Feng admire him a little. Women do not allow men. Ahead is Xi'an Island. The ancient ship was sailing. Lu Qingzhu suddenly pointed to the distance and said, everyone looked at it, and found that there was a huge island on the sea hundreds of miles away, with many mountains and peaks, and waterfalls flowing down like a galaxy. Above all the mountain peaks, a thin mist lingered in the sky. The sun shone down, refracting colorful rays of light. Occasionally, white cranes fly by, like a fairy island in the world. Wow! It feels like a fairyland in the drama. Qin Zining couldn't help exclaiming when she saw the Xi'an Island. It was the first time seeing the other maids and servants, and all of them showed shocked expressions. Although the aura here is not as strong as in the Imperial City, it is more like a legendary fairyland. Given the choice, they'd rather stay here. Only Qin Feng had a calm expression. He couldn't help but think of the big ship that was full of beautiful little girls a few days ago and headed for the Kanglanyu. Sure enough, everything is a siege. It is true that those inside want to go out, while those outside want to come in. If you like, you can stay here for a while. Hearing this, Lu Qingzhu said to Qin Zining with a smile, for this cute and lively little girl, she has a special intimacy. Okay. Qin Zining nodded happily. Soon, the ancient ship was above Xi'an Island. At this moment, several elders of the Lu family flew over and stopped. Because this ancient ship was very strange, they were full of vigilance, worried that it was a ship of pirates. It's me. Lu Qingzhu stood up and said calmly. Homeowner. Seeing Lu Qingzhu, the elders of the Lu family were obviously taken aback. Didn't you go out on the family's warship? The elder of the Lu family asked suspiciously. Why is it now a strange ancient ship, and the people on it are so strange? I was ambushed by pirates on the road. Speaking of this, Lu Qingzhu was a little angry and sad, and said, except for me, the other clansmen were buried in the sea. When she met Qin Zining, all her fellow clansmen had been killed by pirates, and she was the only one left alive. What? Those hateful pirates, if they are caught, they must be cut to pieces. Why have so many warships in our clan been attacked by pirates during this time? Many Lu parents and elders were very angry when they heard the news, outraged. The 2 sides obviously have deep grievances, and they can't wait to kill those pirates. Then who are these people? The elder of the Lu family looked at Qin Feng and the others, and asked Lu Qingzhu in doubt. People from the Daxia royal family came to pay homage to my sister. Lu Qingzhu said. Hearing what she said, many of the elders of the Lu family showed obvious strangeness, and looked at each other with slight changes in their expressions, because people in the Lu family generally felt that Lu Qingzhu's sister died so early because she was married to Emperor Xia and was plotted against by other concubines. He didn't have a good opinion of the members of the great Xia royal family. It turned out to be a guest, and I was far away from welcoming you. The elder of the Lu family quickly concealed his emotions and said with a polite smile. Lu Qingzhu noticed it, but she couldn't say anything, and then asked the elders in the clan to lead the ancient boat to a suitable place. She took Qin Feng and Qin Zining, as well as the maids carrying sacrifices, to the cemetery to pay homage to her sister. The sound of the piano is quite nice. Walking in the Lu family, Qin Feng suddenly heard the sound of the piano from a distance, and asked in doubt, but why did it stop abruptly halfway through? I didn't expect you to know the rhythm. Hearing this, Lu Qingzhu smiled slightly in surprise. I don't really understand, it's just that the sound of the piano stopped suddenly, which was a bit abrupt. Qin Feng smiled lightly. Although he doesn't know the rhythm, he can still hear that there is obviously more content behind the stopped piano sound. This song was carved on the cliff when the ancestors of the Lu family came to Xi'an Island. It is called Guangling San. It is rumored that it was created by a sage who practiced music. However, the score left on the cliff is only the first part and not the next part. Lu Qingzhu said slowly, for so many years, many strong people who love temperament have come to the Lu family, wanting to observe the first chapter and try to complete it by themselves, but without exception all failed. I see. Hearing this, Qin Feng nodded thoughtfully. He had indeed heard about practitioners who cultivated the rhythm, but there was no such person in Kanglanyu. He didn't expect that in Xi'an Island, there would be a music score handed down by a strong man who proved the Tao in rhythm. He thinks that if he has time these 2 days, he can read the first chapter of Guangling San. Not long after, Lu Qingzhu brought Qin Feng and the others to her sister's cemetery. There are white snow maple trees everywhere, and the petals are falling with the wind. Although Qin Feng didn't have any feelings for this biological mother, he still respected her in his heart, carefully arranged the sacrifices, and burned incense to worship. Chapter 66 Embarrassment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the sacrifice, Lu Qingzhu brought Qin Feng and Qin Zining to a quiet small courtyard. This place is located in the northern part of the entire Lu family mansion. It is the place where the guests live on weekdays. It is very quiet and there is no noisy sound of the Lu family members practicing. Qin Feng is very satisfied with this place. You two should rest here for a while, Lu Qingzhu said slowly. I have to inform the elders of the clan in detail about being ambushed by pirates when I went out this time. Regardless of whether they can avenge those pirates, at least they should be more cautious when letting other clansmen go to sea. Okay, then you can get busy first. Qin Feng nodded and said. Afterwards, Lu Qingzhu left the small courtyard and went to find many elders of the Lu family. Not long after she left, members of the Lu family brought some daily necessities and dinner. As for Qin Feng and Qin Zining, although the members of the Lu family were polite on the surface, like those elders, they didn't have a good impression of them. This made Qin Zining a little embarrassed, but Qin Feng didn't care. After the room was tidied up, it was already evening. Qin Feng and Qin Zining returned to their rooms. System, help me sign in at Xi'an Island. As soon as he returned to the room, Qin Feng said slowly, coming here, Qin Feng will naturally not forget to sign in. Ding! Congratulations to the master, you have successfully signed in and won the second part of Guangling San. The system's mechanical notification sounded in Qin Feng's ears. Qin Feng was startled for a moment. Guangling San part, that he said dumbly. Could it be that because the first part of Guangling San is here, you automatically signed up for the next part? However, the system did not answer Qin Feng's doubts. Qin Feng didn't ask any more questions, but chose to integrate them. All of a sudden, a lot of information about the second chapter of Guangling San was integrated into Qin Feng's mind. He discovered that this Guangling San was not just as simple as a musical score, it even implies that the saint and the strong have a very profound understanding of the great way of heaven and earth. If he can comprehend it thoroughly and play it, it will definitely be of great benefit to his martial arts. Afterwards, Qin Feng didn't waste any more time, and began to meditate, carefully comprehending the content of the second chapter of Guangling San. In the early morning of the next day, the sun rose slowly, dispelling the chill of the night. The entire Xi'an Island seemed to be sprinkled with holy light. Qin Zining got up early in the morning. She was very curious about the island and planned to go around. Qin Feng didn't stop her, but just warned her to be careful, don't accidentally leave Xi'an Island and encounter pirates making trouble. After Qin Zining left, only Qin Feng was left in the courtyard. System, help me sign in at Xi'an Island. Walking out of the room, feeling the warm sunshine, Qin Feng said lightly. Ding! Congratulations to the master, you have successfully signed in and got the sapphire guqin. The notification tone of the system sounded in Qin Feng's ear again. Qin Feng was not very surprised to sign a guqin this time since he signed a piano score yesterday. He guessed that the sage who practiced rhythm should have stayed on this small island for a long time, leaving behind a very powerful Tao rhyme. Therefore, the rewards for signing into the system are all related to the temperament. Qin Feng took the sapphire guqin out of the system space and placed it on the stone table in front of him. This sapphire guqin is a fifth-order middle-grade spiritual weapon. The whole body is carved from sapphire, and there are many formations on it, which looks very extraordinary. Qin Feng had already comprehended the second chapter of Guanling San in detail last night. Although he couldn't say that he understood it thoroughly, he still knew it by heart. Get ready to play a song. However, just when Qin Feng put his fingers on the strings, he froze. I can't play the piano. Qin Feng was a little embarrassed, although he memorized the next chapter of Guanling San, but playing the piano is a matter of technique. It's not that you can learn to play the piano automatically just by memorizing the score. In a slightly awkward atmosphere, after a moment of silence, Qin Feng silently took back the sapphire guqin. Let's learn how to play the piano first. Qin Feng's eyes turned to the direction of the cliff carved with the first chapter of Guanling San. Last night, he asked those Lu family members who delivered dinner, and from their mouths, he learned the location of the stone wall. He felt that there are people who are proficient in temperament and should be able to learn how to play the piano. Thinking of this, Qin Feng's figure rushed towards the cliff. Anyway, even if he couldn't learn how to play the piano, he would definitely keep the first chapter of Guanling San in his heart. In the back mountain of Lu's house, there is a valley. In the valley at this time, there are quite a few figures, both men, women and children. They looked at the piano score on the stone wall in front of them. Some frowned and thought hard, while others recorded their feelings on the paper, and some are sitting cross-legged on the stone not far away, playing the guqin. No matter what they are doing, there is no doubt that they want to complete the next part of Guanling San. Qin Feng's arrival did not attract anyone's attention. Everyone's attention was focused on the first chapter of Guanling San on the stone wall. Is this the first part? Qin Feng looked at the piano score on the stone wall and murmured. He found that although the music score was engraved on the stone wall, as long as he stared at it, he would feel dizzy. Those who can look directly at it all the time obviously have many years of experience and are used to it. Naturally, Qin Feng wouldn't get used to it slowly. He directly used the magic pupil. In the eyes, mysterious and complicated runes emerged. It's easy to watch the above content without any dizzy feeling. It didn't take long to completely remember it. Afterwards, Qin Feng found a rock, sat cross-legged on it, took out the sapphire guqin, and placed it on his lap. For a while, many eyes were attracted. Because of the grade of this sapphire guqin, it is extraordinary at first glance. Who is he? There is a fifth-order guqin, some people said with surprise and envy in their eyes. Those who can watch Guanling San on the stone wall all the time have stayed here for at least several decades. He looks at Qin Feng very strangely, and has never seen Qin Feng before. Now Emperor Daxia's brother is named Qin Feng. The Lu family who met Qin Feng yesterday were obviously a little surprised and said, I never thought that not all the reckless people in the royal family of Daxia. There are people who know the rhythm. Qin Feng of the Great Xia royal family. The others were also a little surprised, just like the members of the Great Xia royal family felt that the people in the southern mountains were all barbarians. People in the East China Sea also think that people from the Great Xia royal family are reckless. This is especially true after a former emperor of the Great Xia imperial family wanted to conquer the East China Sea, but was defeated by a reclusive expert in the East China Sea with half a chapter. On Guanling San Sha, hearing that Qin Feng was actually a member of the Great Xia royal family, many people's eyes fell on Qin Feng, wanting to hear how he played Guanling San. Of course, most people have the mentality of watching a joke. I feel that a reckless man is a reckless man after all, and it is difficult to change anything. Chapter 67. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the eyes of everyone, Qin Feng slowly plucked the strings. Boom. The sound of the piano sounded immediately. Qin Feng started to play according to the content on the score, and everyone present changed their faces. Hiss, isn't this too ugly? Who gave him the courage to dare to come here? I thought that the members of the Great Xia royal family, although they are all reckless, do things with dignity in mind. How dare he come here to play? All of a sudden, exclamations sounded one after another. Qin Feng's piano sound is simply torture for those who are proficient in rhythm. All the eyes looking at Qin Feng were frowning, even a little angry. Even if the Lu family allows people who love temperament, they can come here to watch the first part of Guanling San at will. However, for those who love music, Guanling San is no different from the great emperor's ancient classics. If you don't practice the piano well, you don't dare to come here, and Qin Feng obviously didn't know how to play, so he had the nerve to come here to observe Guanling San, which made them feel that Guanling San was tainted. Get him out, someone scolded. Everyone cast unkind eyes on Qin Feng, and they were going to drive Qin Feng out of here, so as not to let him tarnish this holy place. However, at this moment, an old man with white beard and hair who had been meditating all the time suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Qin Feng. He played Guanling San, the old man said in surprise. His name is Zhao Wuyo, and he has extraordinary attainments in melody. Among the people present, no one can surpass his familiarity with Guanling San. As soon as this statement came out, everyone present was startled. He wondered if Zhao Wuyo heard it wrong. How could he be playing Guanling San with such an ugly piano sound? And this Qin Feng is obviously coming here for the first time. It is estimated that it is difficult to observe the piano score on the stone wall directly. How could it be possible to play it? It seems to be really Guanling San. Although his playing technique is extremely clumsy, but you listen carefully, it seems to be playing according to the score of Guanling San. After hearing Zhao Wuyo's words, someone listened carefully and couldn't help exclaiming. Seeing someone agreeing with Zhao Wuyo, everyone present also listened carefully, and then, their expressions were all incomparably wonderful. Guanling San. This Qin Feng, is he really playing Guanling San? Everyone looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. How did he play Guanling so badly? The key is not that he played Guanling San so badly, but how did he comprehend the first chapter of Guanling San when he came here for the first time? That's right. It's the first time he's been here, and he obviously doesn't even know how to play the piano. When he sees the music score on the stone wall, he probably won't be able to read it for a while, and he will faint. Why did he just write down the score? Soon, someone realized that something was wrong, causing bursts of exclamation. They are proficient in temperament, and there is no way to memorize the Guanling Sanqin score on the stone wall in less than 10 or 20 years, but Qin Feng only took a while, but he has already done it. It made them feel incredible. At this time, Qin Feng was completely intoxicated by the sound of the piano. What others heard was the sound of the piano played by him, and what he heard was the swan song of the saint. It is the piano sound that should exist in his imagination. He couldn't hear the voice of outside discussion at all. When everyone saw Qin Feng ignoring them, their expressions were extremely exciting. They really didn't want Guanling San to be tarnished like this by Qin Feng, but they couldn't bear to disturb it. This might be the first time a rare musical genius played it for the first time. However, this torture was more serious than they imagined. Guanling San already had a killing effect, and Qin Feng's playing was too unpleasant, so everyone had to protect their bodies with spiritual energy to resist the unpleasant rhythm. It wasn't until Qin Feng played half of the first chapter and suddenly stopped, that everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief. Playing Guanling San consumed so much consciousness. Qin Feng was a little surprised, feeling tired very quickly. Not only that, but he also found that when he was playing, he was a little immersed, and his sense of the outside world almost disappeared, which made him feel very uneasy. Just stopped. If a normal person plays it for the first time, he will definitely not have such a feeling. But Qin Feng's spiritual sense is too strong, so when he played, his comprehension and feeling of the piano sound became deeper, and this happened. Little friend, is this the first time you come here to watch the score of Guanling San? Seeing Qin Feng stop, Zhao Wuyo couldn't help asking. He has been here for hundreds of years, and it is almost certain that this is Qin Feng's first visit, but he still couldn't help but want to ask. Well, the first time. Qin Feng nodded. Hiss. Hearing this, the people present could not help but gasp. This temperament talent is a bit too scary, right? The first time I watched Guanling San's piano score, I was able to memorize it proficiently and play it out. This is absolutely unprecedented existence. However, this Guanling San is too mysterious. I feel that it is difficult for me to play it completely without a month or two. Qin Feng couldn't help sighing. As soon as this statement came out, all the people present looked at each other in blank dismay. This is Guanling San. According to the rumors, Qin Feng actually felt that he could play the score proficiently and completely in a month or two. If others said that, They would definitely scoff, but Qin Feng was able to play so much after seeing the first part of Guanling San for the first time, they have nothing to say. Little friend, are you willing to worship me as a teacher? Zhao Wuyo immediately opened his mouth and said, I'm approaching my lifespan, so I can pass on all my life's insights about Guanling San to you. These words once again stirred up waves. Who is Zhao Wuyo? The level of comprehension of Guanling San in the current world is definitely number one. How many people want to worship him as a teacher, but they have no chance. Thank you for your kindness, senior, but I have no plans to become a teacher. Qin Feng shook his head and said slowly, seeing Qin Feng's refusal, everyone present wanted to speak up to persuade Qin Feng, I don't want him to miss this opportunity, especially those members of the Lu family. They felt that Qin Feng didn't understand Zhao Wuyo's musical attainments at all, so they refused, and they came forward to introduce Zhao Wuyo's identity to Qin Feng. Ha ha. However, Zhao Wuyo laughed out loud when he heard the words, and said, as expected of being the number one genius with the same melody throughout the ages, he is really free and easy. The old man was a little careless just now. With your talent, it is estimated that in less than 100 years, your comprehension of Guanling San will surpass my lifelong research, and you don't need me as a teacher at all. When everyone heard the words, they were also a little stunned. With the talent that Qin Feng showed just now, it only takes 100 years for Qin Feng to surpass Zhao Wuyo. This made them envious for a while. Chapter 68 Sirius and the Patriarch of the Wang family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although Qin Feng rejected the apprenticeship, Zhao Wuyo was not angry. On the contrary, he taught him some playing skills. It was not until late at night that Qin Feng left. In the next few days, Qin Feng would go to the cliff every day to observe the remnants of Guanling San, but will not continue to play there, because from Zhao Wuyo's mouth, he learned that the sound of the piano he played was not pleasant, which made him a little embarrassed. Moreover, he was also worried that he would be in danger if he was too intoxicated by the sound of the piano. Even with Qin Feng's current cultivation, no one in the entire East China Sea could hurt him even if he stood still here, but he is a person who only pays attention to one word, steady. In the back mountain of Lu's house, Qin Feng found a quiet and deserted cliff, and practiced playing there, from morning to night. From night to morning, of course, apart from playing the piano, Qin Feng did not forget to sign in. Ding! Congratulations to the master, you have successfully signed in and won the reward typing order. Ding! Congratulations to the master, the sign-in is successful, and the reward Mountain Ghost Ballad, that the rewards are very generous. Almost all of them have been lost. It's just not like Guanling San. It was created by a sage, and it's not as profound and mysterious. Lu Qingzhu was also very happy for Qin Feng when he saw that Qin Feng liked the rhythm so much, and specially asked his clansmen not to disturb him at House Han. Of course, apart from not wanting people to disturb Qin Feng, the reason is also because the sound of the piano played by Qin Feng is really not pleasant. Under the night, the bright moon hangs high in the sky, and the stars are dotted. On an island in the East China Sea, there are bonfires everywhere, as well as the sound of pirates drinking and eating meat and cheering. This is the lair of the largest pirate in the East China Sea, the Sirius pirate. At this time, in a huge cave, Sirius, the boss of the Sirius pirates, and several other leaders, with a proud woman in their arms, were drinking and looking at more than a dozen dancing women in front of them, so unhappy. Get out of here! At this moment, those figures in cloaks had already arrived in the cave and shouted angrily. Everyone was taken aback, but when they saw those figures in cloaks, they didn't dare to speak much, and left quickly except for Sirius and some important leaders. Patriarch Wang. Why are you here? Seeing these figures, Sirius suddenly sobered up and said in surprise, hastily stepped forward, extremely respectful. At this time, these figures also took off their cloaks, and the person headed by them was one of the 5 great families in the East China Sea, the Patriarch of the Wang family. He has long been united with the Sirius pirates. Rather than saying it is a union, it is better to say that today's Sirius and pirates are a dog he raised. What do you say? The head of the Wang family said angrily, the plan has failed. Are you still in the mood to drink and play with women here? What? The plan failed. With a look of surprise on Sirius' face, he said, didn't the second brother kill Lu Qingzhu and go to see you on business? That he was injured some time ago, and the matter of ambush Lu Qingzhu was left to the second child. He also thought that the second child had not come back for such a long time, because he had already killed Lu Qingzhu and went to meet the patriarch of the Wang family and others. He didn't know that the second child was actually killed, and when the other pirates on the ship were fleeing for their lives, they were also caught up by Qin Feng's sword Intent of the Wind, and the ship was destroyed and everyone died. What a fart, that the patriarch of the Wang family said angrily. Lu Qingzhu has returned to Xi'an Island a few days ago, unscathed. How so? Sirius was shocked, and said, our plan is obviously foolproof. How could it fail? Last year, he salvaged from the bottom of the sea a batch of spiritual arrows that were sunk in warships of several dynasties during the Great War of Sealing Demons, and they were extremely powerful. Lu Qingzhu should surely die. Don't you think I came all the way here just to lie to you? The head of the Wang family said coldly. Don't dare. Don't dare. Sirius shook his head quickly, and said, I just really can't figure out how Lu Qingzhu survived such a fatal situation. Hearing him mention this question, the patriarch of the Wang family also calmed down. He said coldly, the ancient ship of the great Xia imperial family happened to pass by, and a girl named Qin Zening inside made a move and rescued Lu Qingzhu. This matter is not a secret among the senior members of the Lu family, and the person he arranged to go to the Lu family was the concubine of the son of the third elder of the Lu family, so he naturally found out. Didn't the great Xia royal family have no contact with the Lu family? Sirius frowned, puzzled. How could I know? The patriarch of the Wang family said in a deep voice. Sirius was silent. After a while, he said cautiously, then, should we continue to think of ways to ambush Lu Qingzhu? There are still some spirit arrows that were caught last time. Do you think Lu Qingzhu will make the same mistake again? The patriarch of the Wang family said. After Lu Qingzhu returned to the Lu family, the first time he asked someone to hire a formation master to reinforce the warships in the clan. This. Sirius was speechless, and said worriedly, then what should we do? If Lu Qingzhu continues to develop, everyone under my command will be wiped out by her. In the past, in the East China Sea, the Wang family and the Lu family were tied for first in strength. The Wang family and they are secretly together, and the Lu family and the other three families alone cannot do anything to them, but now the Lu family is developing rapidly under the leadership of Lu Qingzhu. If Lu Qingzhu does not die and continues like this, they will be wiped out sooner or later, and this is exactly what the patriarch of the Wang family is worried about. Once the Sirius pirates are wiped out, their Wang family will lose a lot of sources of wealth. What could be more profitable than looting? I have a plan. I can destroy the Lu family directly, but you need to sneak into the Lu family yourself. The patriarch of the Wang family said solemnly. What? You asked me to go to Lu's house in person. Are you killing Lu Qingzhu? Sirius panicked immediately, and quickly said, although Lu Qingzhu's strength is not as good as mine, it's not much worse. Let alone kill her. If I'm surrounded by other strong Lu family, I will die on the spot. With his cultivation at the peak of the first layer of the Zifu realm, it is not easy to kill Lu Qingzhu, who is in the middle of the first layer of the Zifu realm. If he is discovered and surrounded by other powerful members of the Lu family, there will be only one dead end. How could I let you kill Lu Qingzhu? The patriarch of the Wang family said coldly. The person I want you to kill is that Qin Feng of the great Xia royal family. Qin Feng of the great Xia royal family? Why kill him? Sirius said puzzledly. Don't understand this. Now the Daxia royal family and the Lu family have only just gotten in touch, and they don't trust each other very much. Moreover, people in the Lu family are generally disgusted with the Daxia royal family, and those court ladies and attendants can clearly feel it. However, the patriarch of the Wang family said in a scheming way, if we kill Qin Feng at this time, what will the great Xia royal family think? Even if they think it is not someone from the Lu family who did it, they will definitely vent their anger on the Lu family. After all, if the emperor's elder brother was killed, the great Xia royal family would be disgraced. Only by making the Lu family pay the price can they restore their majesty. In this way, we can do the biggest thing with the smallest cost, kill people with a knife, and destroy the Lu family. Chapter 69 The Sad Little White Fox. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing the arrangement of the Patriarch of the Wang family, Sirius' eyes suddenly brightened. This is a great plan, Sirius couldn't help but praised. In the past, we just planned to kill Lu Qingzhu and hinder the development of the Lu family. Now this method can directly destroy the Lu family. He couldn't help but admire the Patriarch of the Wang family. He deserved to be a ruthless person who could kill his father and seize the throne. At that time, the people I arranged will meet you at Lu's house. The Patriarch of the Wang family said in a deep voice. Kindness. Sirius nodded, and then asked doubtfully, but, isn't that Qin Feng not protected by a powerful member of the great Xia royal family? Don't worry. This time they go out, the strongest is the Qin Zening who rescued Lu Qingzhu earlier. The Patriarch of the Wang family said coldly, and that Qin Zening, who spends all day playing around Xi'an Island, has no protection by his side at all. That's great. I'm going to Xi'an Island now. In the next few days, I'll find a chance to sneak in. There was a hint of cruelty in Sirius' eyes. He didn't take Qin Feng seriously at all, and felt that such a member of the royal family, at this age, was only at the sea level, and in front of his cultivation at the peak of the first layer of the purple mansion, he was like an ant. No hurries. The Patriarch of the Wang family stopped Sirius, took out a pill from the ring, and said, "This is Inshi pill. I bought it with a lot of money. Although it has some side effects, it can make your breath, almost completely hidden. Be careful to be discovered by that old thing from the Lu family." More than 90 years ago, when Lu Qingzhu's uncle went out to play in the sea, he obtained a leftover elixir from a place where a strong man sat down. In a short period of time, his cultivation has soared from the 7th level of the Luanhai realm to the peak of the 2nd level of the Zifu realm. He is the strongest in the entire East China Sea. He had just returned from a trip half a year ago and returned to the Lu family, so he had to be cautious. It is good. Sirius nodded, and put away the hidden breath pill. At the same time, he began to discuss with the Patriarch of the Wang family the specific plan to enter the Lu family. In the past few days, Qin Feng was almost always in the back mountain, occasionally going to learn how to play the piano with Zhao Wuyo. It's just that Qin Feng found that he didn't seem to understand the rhythm a little bit, and his learning progress was very slow. There's nothing he can do about it, he was a little tone deaf when he was in Blue Star. One evening, the sun had just risen, and the warm sunlight fell on Xi'an Island, dispelling the chill of the night. A fox with white fur all over his body came to the cliff of the mountain behind the Lu family quietly. She came under an ancient tree, and slowly put an ancient medicine in her mouth that had grown for at least 400 years on the ground. With this ancient medicine, my cultivation should be fully restored. The little white fox muttered to himself. Since she left the imperial palace last time, she has come to the East China Sea, taking advantage of the natural sensitivity of the fox clan to treasures of heaven and earth, looking for those rare treasures of heaven and earth from various uninhabited islands. Compared with the mainland, among the various islands, Tainkadabo rarely has powerful monsters guarding it. Because most of the truly powerful monsters in the East China Sea are in the sea. Over the past few years, the little white fox's meridian injuries have completely recovered, and his cultivation has reached the 5th level of the spirit transformation realm. Because her injury caused her cultivation to drop, so as long as she has the corresponding natural materials and earthly treasures, her cultivation will improve very quickly. This time she obtained this ancient medicine that had grown for 400 years, and if nothing else happened, it would be able to restore her cultivation to the peak, the 5th level of the Purple Mansion realm. Smelly scum, after my cultivation base recovers, I will definitely not let you go. That the little white fox looked in the direction of the great Xia dynasty, and said viciously, "When the time comes, I will make you kneel in front of me and obediently call you master." Thinking of this, she immediately swallowed the ancient medicine. For a moment, the majestic medicinal power immediately entered her body. The little white fox calmed down, concentrated her mind, and guided the medicinal power into her meridians, turning it into spiritual energy to improve her cultivation. It went well, but at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Boom! In the sky, a thunderbolt suddenly struck down, incomparably abrupt, because the sky is clearly clear now. Moreover, that thunder is obviously different from ordinary thunder, and it actually contains the power of the law of the Great Way, which is shocking. Someone is about to cross the catastrophe. This is an early sign from heaven. Hateful, that the little white fox was guiding the medicinal power into her meridians, when a thunderous sound just now made her heart tremble. It was at this very moment that the majestic medicinal power was not controlled, causing the medicinal power to get out of control in the body and scurry around. The little white fox desperately wanted to redirect the medicinal power into his meridians. But it can no longer be done. The medicinal power was too majestic. In her body, it kept impacting everywhere, almost tearing her body apart. She felt that she was too sad. After finally obtaining a 400-year-old elixir and a chance to restore his cultivation, he was disturbed by the thunder from the sky. Boom boom. A hint of determination appeared in the little white fox's eyes, and a bloody light radiated from his body. Although she was very unwilling, she had to use the power of her remaining blood to seal the medicinal power, otherwise, she will surely die. Accompanied by the bloody light emanating from the little white fox's body, the medicinal power that was scurrying around in her body was also slowly sealed. However, after consuming all the power of the blood just now, the little white fox also became very weak. The whole fox was sluggish, it didn't even have the strength to move, and it was drowsy. No, I can't sleep deeply. If I fall asleep, I'm afraid I won't be able to wake up again. The little white fox insisted on getting up. She is extremely weak now, and she must be supplemented with lush aura, otherwise, if she continues to be like this, she will definitely die here. It's a pity that even though the little white fox was too weak, he stood up several times, but fell to the ground again. In the end, it was impossible to move at all. Chapter 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye it was evening. The little white fox became more and more tired, and could hardly keep his eyes open. At this moment, she missed the milky white liquid very much. If she had that liquid as a supplement, she would definitely be able to survive. However, she then smiled helplessly in her heart. That stinking scum was far away in the Imperial Mausoleum of Great Xia. How could it be possible to appear here? However, at this moment, Qin Feng, who had just returned from Zhao Wuyo's place, noticed the little white fox under the ancient tree with a puzzled expression on his face. "Why are you here too?" Qin Feng said puzzledly. When the little white fox heard the words, he opened his eyes with difficulty, and was slightly taken aback, but felt that he was hallucinating, so he closed his eyes slowly. But in the next moment, a majestic aura made the little white fox couldn't help but opened his eyes again, and looked at Qin Feng in horror. Hiss, so fragrant. She realized that it was not a hallucination, because in Qin Feng's hand, there was a small bottle containing the milky white liquid. There was an incomparably rich aura and fragrance inside, which awakened her previous memories. "Can you still eat by yourself?" Qin Feng put a bottle of Earth Spirit Clock lotion in front of the little white fox. But the little white fox tried twice, but couldn't move. The struggle just now had exhausted her last strength. Seeing this, Qin Feng shook his head helplessly, put his fingers into the small bottle, dipped some Earth Bell lotion, stretched it out in front of the little white fox, and said, "Open your mouth and hold it." Hearing this, the little fox opened his mouth with difficulty, and took Qin Feng's finger in his mouth. Qin Feng felt that his fingers were wrapped in that kind of damp heat. "I can't help but feel a little throbbing in my heart," but thinking that this little white fox is a fox and not a peerless beauty, he soon calmed down. Ugh! After the little white fox engulfed Qin Feng's finger, he was immediately intoxicated by the incomparably pure aura and moaned happily. "Swallow it, don't let it flow out," Qin Feng reminded. "Gudu." After the little white fox obediently swallowed the lotion of the Earth Spirit Clock, he immediately felt the extremely pure aura pouring into his body, into his limbs and bones. The feeling of exhaustion was swept away, and it was very refreshing, making her feel ecstatic. It was like a dry spring finally flowing into a dry desert. Ugh! When this transcendence and comfort reached its peak, the little white fox couldn't help moaning slightly, and his whole body trembled slightly. After a while, it returned to normal. "Not letting go yet, are you addicted?" Seeing that the little white fox had already swallowed the Earth Spirit Clock lotion on his finger, and did not let go of his finger, he said speechlessly. Hearing this, the little white fox was slightly embarrassed, and let go of Qin Feng's fingers. I happen to be short of an audience, and you're here just in time, so you can listen to me playing the piano here from now on. Saying that, Qin Feng picked up the little white fox and came to the nearby cliff, although the little white fox doesn't like being held as a pet, but thinking that Qin Feng just saved him, he still holds back. This guy can actually play the piano. The little white fox murmured to himself, I just don't know if the piano it plays is good or not. How is it compared to Zhao Wuyo? It's not the first time he has come to the Lu family, she has also been to the cliff carved with Guangling Mountain, so she naturally knows Zhao Wuyo. And just when the little white fox was thinking like this, Qin Feng had already placed her on a rock beside the cliff, while he himself sat cross-legged on another rock, took out the sapphire guqin, and slowly plucked the strings. Ding dong. The sound of the piano sounded, and the little white fox on the stone suddenly became excited. What the hell? Is this someone playing the piano? There are still people claiming their lives. This is too ugly, right? The little white fox was completely dumbfounded. She just ate a few drops of milky white liquid. What mistake did she make? Why did she have to accept such a punishment? Ding dong. And just when the little white fox was startled by the sound of the zither continued to sound, which made her a little suspicious that the fox was born. She got up from the stone and turned around to run away. Is it so ugly? Seeing the little white fox, he turned around and was about to leave. Qin Feng couldn't help frowning. The little white fox wanted to turn around and say, yes. It's a pity that she hasn't transformed yet, so she can't speak at all. Seeing that the little white fox insisted on leaving, Qin Feng shook his head helplessly. He had to uncork the bottle of Earth Spirit Bell lotion and put it on the nearby stone. Hiss. Smelling the smell, the little white fox immediately stopped her steps to leave, and she couldn't help but look back at the little jade bottle. The milky white liquid inside is really delicious. After hesitating for a moment, he finally turned around and chose to compromise. For the next few days, the little white fox was forced to listen to Qin Feng playing Guangling San, but for her, there is good news. The medicinal power sealed in her body is slowly overflowing, entering her meridians, warming and nourishing her body, which caused her to be in a deep sleep state most of the time. You don't have to listen to Qin Feng's piano sound all the time. In the past few days, Qin Zining, who was traveling around, came here once, and advised Qin Feng to go out for a walk more. This Xi'an island is much more interesting than the Imperial City, but she was not interested in seeing Qin Feng, so she didn't persuade him much. Lu Qingzhu didn't look for Qin Feng once, and has been busy recently. According to Qin Zining, she seemed to want to block the news of Tianlei's appearance that day. In fact, Qin Feng was a little surprised by the appearance of the thunder. Under normal circumstances, cultivators under the martial arts realm do not need to cross the tribulation to improve their realm, but in Xi'an Island, there is obviously no strong man in the martial arts realm. He didn't quite understand who was going to cross the catastrophe, but he was too lazy to inquire and didn't care. Continue to play your own Guangling San. Day and night, a figure from afar sneaked into the Lu family quietly. In it, there was already a woman in red who came to meet Sirius. It was the concubine of the son of the third elder of the Lu family, who was arranged by the head of the Wang family and the Lu family. Qin Zining has gone out to sea to play. She is not by Qin Feng's side. Tonight is a good time to do it. The woman in red lowered her voice and said to Sirius, "Where is he now? Take me there." Sirius said in a deep voice. The red-clothed woman nodded, and then quietly walked towards the peak of the back mountain where Qin Feng was, taking the Sky Wolf with her. It didn't take long for the two of them to arrive at the foot of the Lu family's back mountain. It's on top of that cliff. The woman in red pointed to the cliff above the mountain peak and said to Sirius. Sirius heard the prestige and looked over, and could faintly see the cliff, and there was a figure sitting beside the cliff. "Huh. You don't have any cultivation at all." Sirius used his powerful spiritual sense to investigate, but found that there was no spiritual energy fluctuation on Qin Feng's body at all. Chapter 71 Dangerous. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huh. He doesn't have any cultivation. The woman in red was also an accident. She didn't have a chance to get close to Qin Feng, so she didn't investigate. If she had known this earlier, she would have killed Qin Feng without waiting for Sirius. She is a cultivation base of the second level of the spirit transformation realm. Humph. What an idiot. He has no cultivation and doesn't have a strong body to protect him. If you don't die, whoever dies will die. Sirius said coldly. After all, he was going to go up to the cliff and deal with Qin Feng. Ding dong. However, at this moment, a piano sound suddenly sounded. The sudden sound of the piano startled Sirius. What happened? Sirius stopped in surprise. It's okay, this guy is practicing Guangling San. The woman in red didn't care. At this level, do you have the nerve to play Guangling San? Hearing this, Sirius sneered and said, it's really stupid and doesn't know it. Although he doesn't practice temperament, he has heard of the name of Guangling San. I feel that Qin Feng's technique is not worthy of playing Guangling San. However, as the sound of the zither gradually continued, the expressions of both Sirius and the woman in red changed drastically. What's going on? The aura in my body is out of my control. The woman in red said in horror. Not only her, Sirius also had the same situation. His complexion changed suddenly, the astonishing spiritual energy raged in their bodies, constantly impacting, and their meridians were extremely painful. The sound of the piano. Then Qin Feng is using the sound of the piano to control the aura in our bodies. Sirius exclaimed. After all, he was in the Zifu realm, and he soon realized that there was something abnormal in the sound of the piano, which affected the aura in his body. How could this happen? The sound of that Qin Feng's piano playing is so ugly and clumsy. How could there be such a powerful means to use the sound of the piano to control the spiritual energy in our body? The woman in red said in disbelief. Bastard! How would I know? Sirius said angrily. He was terrified, desperately running his exercises, trying to suppress the aura that was flying around in his body. It's a pity that it doesn't help at all. Senior, spare your life. Senior, spare your life. Sirius was completely terrified, and knelt on the ground, begging Qin Feng for mercy. The woman in red also hurriedly knelt on the ground begging for mercy, asked Qin Feng to spare them. Unfortunately, Qin Feng simply ignored them. Pfft. Just a moment later, Sirius and the woman in red were directly torn into pieces by the aura in his body. Flesh and blood flew. It's calm here, as if nothing had happened, and Qin Feng, who was on the cliff at the top of the mountain, continued to play his Guangling San, but the chilling spirit in it was a little less. At noon the next day, Qin Feng was playing the piano, and the little white fox next to him was also sleeping peacefully, releasing traces of the medicinal power into his meridians. Ha! In the distance, there is a figure flying over. It was Lu Qingzhu. Her face was full of worry. Landing on the cliff, when he saw Qin Feng, he asked nervously, Qin Feng, you didn't encounter any danger last night, did you? Dangerous? What danger? Qin Feng asked puzzledly. Last night, there was indeed a person at the peak of the first layer of the Zifu realm who wanted to kill him, but it was just a zither sound, and he killed him. There is no danger. It's good that there is no danger. Hearing this, Lu Qingzhu breathed a sigh of relief, and said, the pirates sneaked in here last night and died at the foot of the mountain. I thought they were trying to trick you. A person who went to the cliff to observe Guanglingsan just now passed by here and found the body of Sirius at the foot of the mountain. After hearing the news, she came and saw that Qin Feng was fine, so she was finally relieved. Let my aunt worry. Qin Feng said with a smile. You'll be fine, you'll be fine. Lu Qingzhu muttered. Afterwards, she gave Qin Feng a few more words, that is, to leave, to investigate the purpose of Sirius and who killed Sirius. At the same time, she arranged for her to also arrange for a strong man to secretly protect Qin Feng. As for Qin Feng, he didn't care at all. He didn't care what Sirius' purpose was, he just wanted to play the piano quietly here. Yesterday, a piano sound killed people, which made him enjoy this feeling a little bit. The Wang family is also on the island, built resplendently. In the conference hall, the head of the Wang family and many elders are here. Patriarch, the news is almost certain that Lu Qingzhu's uncle, got an elixir that can prolong his life for 100 years when he went to sea last time. The sky thunder seen by many merchant ships passing by in the past few days is the harbinger that Lu Ting is about to pass the catastrophe of life and death. The elder of the Wang family said in a deep voice, under normal circumstances, Cultivators below the martial domain realm do not need to cross the tribulation, however, people whose lifespan is close to being greatly extended all of a sudden must go through life and death kulpas, and only after they have passed through life and death kulpas can they continue to live. That old bastard Lu Ting really found the life-prolonging elixir. As soon as this remark came out, many elders of the Wang family all had ugly faces. Lu Ting's cultivation at the peak of the second heaven realm in the Zifu realm surpassed the entire East China Sea. As long as he is there, coupled with Lu Qingzhu's talent, no one can stop the development of the Lu family. Many people were waiting for Lu Ting to die, and the Wang family was naturally one of them, and now Lu Ting has obtained the method of prolonging life, which is definitely a huge bad news for them. The reason why Lu Qingzhu blocked the news was because he was afraid that someone would plot against Lu Ting during his robbery. Should we? The great elder of the Wang family spoke slowly and said in a deep voice. Hearing what he said, everyone turned their eyes to the head of the Wang family. Why take such a big risk? The patriarch of the Wang family sneered and said, I have already ordered Sirius to kill Qin Feng and frame the Lu family. At that time, no matter whether the great Xia dynasty sent troops or dispatched strong men, Lu Ting, who was only at the peak of the second heavenly layer of the Zifu realm, would not be able to save the Lu family at all. His plan was extremely vicious. He had already informed Sirius, and asked Sirius to kill Qin Feng and push the concubine of the third elder's son directly off the cliff. It caused the illusion that Qin Feng tried to violate the concubine of the third elder's son, but was accidentally killed. At that time, whether it is for revenge or to cover up the scandal, the great Xia royal family will definitely send troops to the Lu family. The head of the family has other plans already. That the elder of the Wang family was startled. He just found out. The other elders also showed surprise. For the smooth progress of the plan, I didn't discuss it with you before. The head of the Wang family said lightly. He killed his father to take over the throne, and some people in the family did not believe him at all, so he also wants to prove himself. Using the help of the great Xia royal family to destroy the Lu family, this move is really perfect. Fortunately, the family had this perfect plan before, otherwise, we would have to find a way to prevent that old Lu Ting from going through life and death. Many elders of the Wang family all praised him one after another. I have great admiration in my heart, and feel that this is a foolproof plan. The patriarch of the Wang family also looked proud. In his opinion, this plan is also perfect, just waiting for the good news from Sirius. But at this moment, his confidant came to the meeting hall in a hurry, looking extremely anxious. Come to the third watch quietly, just for a free gift. Beep beep.